Hi, everyone. I'm Msgr Jim Vlaun, and welcome to Good News. Here's Karen Danca-Smith, my co-host. How are you?
Hi, everyone. I'm great. How are you, Msgr?
Doing very, very well.
Good.
Now, you just revealed something to me. You probably don't want to say
I did?
it to me. Well, you and your husband are looking into putting a will together. I can't believe that.
We discussed it, and
Yes.
we said we have to do this. Every once in a while, we discuss it and say we have to do this, and we don't.
Right.
So we called our local law offices, and,
Yeah.
and I left a message because he said, I can't do it. You need to do it. So I
Really?
left a message.
Wow.
And we didn't hear back, so now I feel like we are back to square one again.
Listen, let me just tell you
Maybe
something.
another 5 years.
I did all of that because I'm the only child of my mom and dad. So I was helping my mom and dad with like some elder care stuff years ago. This was, and I went to Vincent J. Russo, my friend, who's involved with Telecare. He's a great guy, and he says, "Now, Monsignor, you have to do a will too, of course." And I'm like, why do I need a will? I'm a young guy. I'm never going to die. I'm not dying. And they're like, no, you have to have a will too. Of course you do. So like it was very weird. But then when it finally got done, I got to tell you, I felt very good.
Yeah, it is. It's a little bit unnerving to have that conversation. And what if I die? What if you die? What if we both die? What if one of us gets? And then, but the whole fact is like, oh, that's not going to happen.
Right.
Not like it's going to happen.
Right.
But I guess you're right. There's a relief when it's done.
Now, not that our show's about dying today. It's not about that. And it's not about wills either. But it's about living. And it's about living as we get older. It's about making good decisions about health care, which I think these are things that often we just say, I don't want to deal with this. But we got to deal with it, you know?
I know.
So we have the new president and CEO of Dominican Village on with us.
Oh, that's
and
great.
Dominican Village is a wonderful assisted living place. And it's absolutely amazing, right?
Whenever I hear Dominican Village, my first thought is Msgr Jim loves this place.
I do love that place. And I know where the room I want.
You do.
I already have the room. I'm going to tell him later when it comes on. So, it's a beautiful place. We'll talk more about that. And again, making decisions with our parents as they get older, right? Like, what do they do? Where do they go? Is there a place where they can maybe get a little more help? Is there a place that might be a little less work? Not mowing the lawn so much and doing all the work that they have to do.
Very
Interesting to take a look at because we're living longer, right?
That's exactly right.
And then healthcare, which is, about the most confusing thing on earth, right?
I know.
I mean, how do you deal with that? Because I know you had, like, when your son was sick, too, like the bills, and it's crazy,
And I'll tell you what, just as you were talking, I was thinking about when Gavin was sick, and he was a new baby when this all started to happen, and when we were at Sloan Kettering, the first thing that they do is sit you down and talk about insurance and healthcare, and that's the last thing I'm thinking about.
Right.
And I also remember thinking, I was the type of person that thought, well, this happens to other people. You know, those poor families that have to deal with sick kids, like that's other people. I never in a million years thought that could happen to me.
It would be you, of course.
But now I'm the first one to say, anything could happen to anybody at any second.
So
to be prepared is so
big.
huge.
And you see these ads, and particularly on Telecare, you see them on the major networks. Fidelis Care, right?
Yes.
Believe it or not, owned and operated by the Catholic Church, a not-for-profit insurance company. Can you imagine that? It's unbelievable. Not for profit. So they do great work, and they do a lot of work with the underserved, but also with middle-class people and people who have a lot of money too, about good health care.
I see
That's
those
such an important
commercials
thing.
all the time, and it seems like such a great organization from top down.
And we got to try to figure this stuff out because I think the tendency is just like the will, to just say, oh, forget it, I don't want to think about it now. But we got to think about it because that's part of our responsibility. I mean, God calls us to be responsible people. We got to do that, right?
That's right.
Care for one another. So it'd be an interesting show. I think an upbeat show altogether.
Good and
so
important.
Yeah, it'll be fun. All right, so let's get going. On the topic of aging, Pope Francis has said, the elderly transmit history to us, who transmit doctrine, who transmit the faith, and give it to us as an inheritance. As the new CEO and president of Dominican Village, our next guest lives the call to care for and cherish our aged loved ones in their golden years. Currently serving over 200 residents, their mission is to provide a supportive environment in which the sacredness of life and the dignity of each person are held in the highest regard. Please welcome Paul Wasser, President and CEO of Dominican Village. Thanks for being with us, Paul.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
I have to tell you, first of all, I'm a little biased. I love going to Dominican Village. When I walk in the door there, it's like Elvis is visiting because so many people there are watching. I love it. It's just a great gift.
It's a great vibe.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the place for those who may not know? I mean, it's an amazing concept and just a great place, very unique.
Well, the whole idea of assisted living, there are very few, first of all, non-for-profit assisted living and independent living type of communities. So that in itself is unique. Then when you have one which is sponsored by the Dominican Sisters, and which they bring a vibe into the community that is completely unique of many other types of assisted living communities. So when you have that that vibe along with good operations, you can provide them, you can really foster the mission.
My mom and dad visited a number of times, and unfortunately, as I said to you before we started, my mom got too sick too fast for us to kind of make this move. But they loved the whole environment. They loved the activities there. They loved the people there. Talk a little bit about like what it's like to live there.
Well, if you were able to look at our recreational calendar, I probably couldn't do all the activities that we have in a day. Although some of the residents try, and some of the residents will just sit back and watch everybody do what they need to do. It's not really, we're not going to force anybody to do anything that they don't want to do, but it's a situation that there's something for everyone, and that's the key. There's something for everyone. What we've done at this point is we're trying to provide, and this is sort of the vision, is to provide an environment where one could age in place. So what we're doing at Dominican Village is creating what's called a CCRC, which is a continuing care retirement community, without the nursing, the skilled nursing element. It's everything but at this point. And with that, I know, Father, you were talking about dementia care and all this kind of stuff. We're looking at really putting up a anywhere between a 50 and 125 bed assisted living for memory care.
Hallelujah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
So.
Let me give you a scenario, because this was the scenario my own family lived, and when we did the work, maybe you can put some flesh around this. So a place like this is generally speaking, a self-pay kind of setting, because there's no insurance coverage for this kind of thing, and anywhere, by the way. But the reality is sometimes people will say, oh, that's so expensive, we can't afford it. But then when my family, my mom and dad, began to do all the numbers, and they looked at taxes, they looked at mortgage, they looked at costs of living, food, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All the things that are actually, taken care of when you're at Dominican Village. The darn thing worked out to be less money than they're spending now, So, like, is that the truth of the matter when you do the work behind it?
Yes, absolutely. And you're getting all the amenities.
Right.
Like, it's like being in a cruise ship every day, 3 meals a day.
In a beautiful dining room, by the way.
That's right. And 2 meals a day for independent, 3 meals a day if you're assisted living. But what we are also looking at as part of the vision, Father, is to apply for what's called an ALP, an assisted living program, and that I would like to have approximately 40 beds that are strictly Medicaid beds, because we want to be able to serve the entire community. All types of populations, and I think it's very important. And so as we grow, and as we continue to see this, quote, pseudo CCRC develop, that is part of the plan.
That's exciting.
So yes, it's true what you're saying. I think most people can find the means. However, for the folks that can't, we hope to be able to help them in the future.
You mentioned assisted living and independent. What's the difference between the two?
Well, independent really is, it's their own apartment, except they use the amenities of Dominican Village. They are given 2 meals a day, which are wonderful. If you saw the menu, you'd be very happy with it, Father.
We're going back to that. That's my next question.
We should test it out.
Yeah. And then all the recreational activities, trips. We'll take you to the dock if need be. We'll do the things that we need to do to make sure you're cared for.
And then
that's
there's
on the
housekeeping
independent
services tied into that, just like you would be on a cruise ship, like you're saying.
Absolutely. And the assisted, what we're doing is, right now we offer an all-inclusive plan. So for one daily payment, or monthly payment, you get any level of care that you require, and no matter what your acuity levels are within our license, within what our license allows us to do.
So there's some physical therapy too, and all that
physical therapy, any services, physician services, dental, podiatry, psychiatry.
Think about it. That's wonderful, right?
It really is.
That's what I mean. Do the math, and you might be surprised at home. You used to say, well, this is very interesting how this all pans out.
It's amazing.
Now, our relationship with Dominican Village here at Telecare, goes way back. So we've been friends for a long, long time. One of the places we love to be is on my cooking show, because you've always been known to have great food.
Yes,
It's just, it's a funny thing. And you have all these theme nights and all of that stuff. Talk about like the culinary services there, because it's a lot more than just cafeteria food. It's not that at all.
We look at, you know, when I came in and I spoke with our general manager of dietary services and our executive chef, I said there are three things that I'm always going to be concerned about. If you get these three things done, I promise you, you will never go wrong in the area of dietary services. So he says, what is that? And I says, preparation of food, presentation of the food, and the customer service that goes along with it. If you have those three things down, 99% of the residents will be happy with what you brought to the table, no pun intended.
It's the truth.
Right.
And that's the bottom line. As you might think, the food element and the dining experience is probably, I would say, the most important experience to our
Really?
folks.
I agree with
the
you.
most.
Yeah,
The
I would
most.
agree.
If you don't have that right, our residents.
But you have cocktail parties. Families can come and have their own, like, so it's, you know, somebody's birthday, and they can invite the family, come and have a party. You have like a party room.
Exactly.
All of these things, I mean, that make life, for me, so normal. Like, it's just a normal place, and that's what I
Yes,
love about
yes.
it. You know, it doesn't smell funny.
No.
It's a home. You know,
That's
and
right.
that's what's so different about it.
It's so funny because you know, that is, I always tell our you know, our tour candidates, our folks who come in, the families of our maybe potential residents, is, you know, I'll help you with anything. I'll refer you to places if this isn't right for you, but when they end up coming back because they're like, this feels like home.
Yeah.
What is the first step for people who are interested? Do they go to, is there the website? Do they come to visit? You said there are
Absolutely.
tours?
Yes, absolutely. You can speak with our community relations department. Just call the main number and speak with our community relations department, get an appointment to come and tour with us, have lunch with us, whatever you'd like to do. We'll show you around and make sure that we answer all your questions. Yeah.
And I know in addition to me going there and being present at a number of events, which I was happy to do, I'm also, you know, a person who was there with my mom and dad. And I have to say, I could say firsthand, the amount of care and concern, not just among administration, by the way, but everybody, the whole place is a friendly place, it's a kind place. And what happens, I think, is that goes right to those who are residents. So the whole place is a joyful, it's a place to live, not a place to die. And you just get that sense the minute you walk in. It's very positive.
And that's the vibe that I speak about that is so unique within this community because you know, I'll find Sister Maureen walking around and sitting with our, you know, walking around during the dining, during one of the meal times. And she'll be just talking to our folks. How are you today, Joan? What's happening? How's your brother feeling? Et cetera, et cetera. And these are things that you don't see everywhere.
Right.
You will not see that everywhere.
That's so true.
So the vibe is certainly something special. And I think it translates into the community, that energy throughout the community. And something we're very proud of.
Well, give us the website one more time so people can go visit the website.
Okay, it's www.dominicanvillage.com.
And it's not just
.org.
.org. And it's not just for people, you know, on Long Island. I mean, wherever you're watching right now, you feel free, right?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Well, Paul, I hope that you're back again and again. Please,
Thank
all right?
you.
Keep us
Oh,
informed
please.
of what's going on.
Yep.
Let me know how I can help, because I'll be there. No
Let him know
problem.
when he can
Thank
sign up.
you so
Sounds like
much.
you're ready to
You
go.
guys-
It's upstairs, right by the window. It's a beautiful spot.
Trust me, I'm with you.
It's a
Thank
beautiful
you so
place.
much.
Thank
you so much
you.
for having me.
And to everybody at Dominican
I
Village,
appreciate it.
thanks so much for watching Telecare all the time, too. It means a lot, too. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you again
Appreciate
soon,
it.
all right?
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break. We got more good news right after this. Welcome back, everyone. As their sacred mission, Fidelis Care provides affordable health insurance coverage to people of all ages. Formed in 1993 as the Catholic Health Services Plan of Brooklyn and Queens, they've grown to provide services to more than 1 million New Yorkers. In imitation of the compassionate and healing Christ, they continue to advocate for true dignity and respect for all human persons, especially the poor and underserved. Please welcome Mark Sclafani, Marketing Vice President for Fidelis Care. Mark, thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be
Welcome.
here. Thank you.
Now, you know, we
to have
see
you.
the ads like all the time, and I
Yes.
see them constantly on TV. That's one thing you guys are awesome at. You're getting the
Yes.
word out like there's no tomorrow these days, and congratulations
Thank
for
you.
that, because that's great. The Catholic component of it, I think not everybody everybody knows about that. And I think that's
they
an important
don't. I
part.
mean, we are sponsored by all the dioceses of New York State. As you mentioned, it was started in 1993 as Catholic Health Services, now Fidelis Care, and it's really been growing tremendously. One of the things I think that differentiates us is really, and as our CEO, our president and CEO, Father Feroli would say, is really it's really mission driven. We're a not-for-profit organization. Our job is really to get out there and serve the underserved communities. And I know we'll talk a little more about some of the individual things that we do, but we are in the communities. We really now, with the Affordable Care Act, serve everyone. I mean, that's so, and you'll see probably more of our, like you said, the ads and things on the radio and television, but it's really our mission. And not only is it for our members, but our employees really truly believe in that. And that really, I think, makes a difference. And the people who come in and meet with us really feel that dedication that the people, they live in these communities and they want to serve the people they live with.
I'm so glad we have an opportunity to have you on, because sometimes when people go online and they see like all the companies, you just check off,
Correct.
Like you just see Fidelis Care and you're like, oh, that's one among many. But it's one among many, but it's very different in that way with the mission and also the not-for-profit status, right?
Absolutely. And again, a lot of what we do, we are in the communities. We have several community offices all throughout this area, all the way out through New York State. And we do serve the entire state. We have, so people can just walk in, they can call to make appointments. Again, we'll talk a little more about that, but it really is focused on one-on-one, and you mentioned it, we were over 1 million members, and I think we were here last and we talked that's the number. We're up over 1.3 million members and growing dramatically, which is great. And it's not just a matter of that we're growing, it's a matter of these are 300,000 more people that are now covered with health care. And that's what our mission is. It's to continue to make sure until every last person that we can cover is covered. So, and I think the people see that when they meet with our representatives, they understand the commitment and dedication that they really have. And what we do with people, sometimes they don't really understand what's available. Right. And that's why we encourage them, come on and talk to us. We help them in the process. It's a difficult process, even for those of us who work in this field every day. With the Affordable Care Act, with all the different products that are out there now, and all the things that people are hearing, and on the political spectrum, I think we can cut through a lot of that and really tell people what's available for them, help them, and we'll help them, literally get the documents together to understand what they need, and we're not going to turn anyone away. We're going to try and help every single person that comes through that door.
Can you talk about some of those programs that you offer?
Sure. I mean, we really, at this point now, we sort of joke a little bit that we offer everything from, I don't want to use the word cradle to grave, but it's basically, we have Child Health Plus for children. We're always very, very large in the Medicaid space. Medicare, which we'll talk a little bit more about. We're in managed long-term care. We have very, very large now on the New York State of Health Exchange, which is, people may know that as the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare.
Okay.
And then there's another product coming out this year called the Essential Plan, which we can talk a little more about, which is going to be even more affordable for those who maybe found the metal plans, the Affordable Care plans, even with tax credits, a little too expensive. They had to make some real tough decisions on where they wanted to go. So pretty much every product, including what's on the New York State of Health, we can offer to folks who walk through the door. And they're very surprised sometimes at what they might qualify for. They might qualify for Medicaid or certain subsidies or tax credits, and we can help work through that with them and find the best product that's affordable for them.
Guide us through a little bit, Mark. So like, my mom and dad are 80, 79 years old. Like, what should people do when they say, well, you know what, we have some insurance, but I don't know what we should do. Maybe we should talk to somebody at Fidelis Care and see if, we could be doing better than we're doing.
Absolutely. So for folks who are in the Medicare space, a lot of folks do have, we call the fee-for-service, which is the traditional Medicare. There's a lot of gaps in there, and you see things on TV where, there's gap insurance, or maybe you see AARP, supplemental. And those aren't cheap. So people who have those, it's always a good idea to take a look at something that we have. So you have your Part A, which is your hospitals, Part B, doctors, and then there's the Part D, which came out a few years ago as prescription.
Right.
So people can sort of put those together, but it's always a great idea to look at what we call the Medicare Advantage plan, which we have. That's the Part C. And what that is that's both hospital, doctors, and for all but I believe one plan, that's a choice that they would make, we also have prescription drugs. So they may have very low copays, they may have very low premiums, or even zero premiums, depending on what their situation is. And we can help work through that. And it's all coordinated, which is nice. So you have your doctors, your hospitals, your drugs, and again, you'd be very surprised what people might qualify for depending on their income, especially after they retire, their income goes down. Zero premiums. Again, every plan is a little bit different, but we certainly can walk them through all that and help them figure out what might be the best plan.
Like you're saying, it's like worth trying. Like it's worth like at least talking to somebody to see, because sometimes people think they're set up, but they're really not set up.
That's true, and you know it's a great thing. We have a neat little thing on our fideliscare.org website called the Affordable Care Advisor, and it literally would take you 2 or 3 minutes. It doesn't ask any personal health information, just basically date of birth, where do you live, age, obviously date of birth, and income. You plug that in, and it doesn't give you an exact, but it'll give you a general idea of you may qualify for this, this, or this, and here's roughly what it's going to cost. And obviously, it just helps a little bit, and then that helps people to say, hey, I think I can afford this, or this is worth looking into, and then we'd encourage them to come in and talk with some of our representatives to get a little more detail on that.
Can't hurt, right?
Absolutely.
You mentioned open enrollment for Medicare. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Sure. Open enrollment for Medicare, so for people that are not what we call dual eligibles, have Medicaid and Medicare, have an open enrollment period where they can switch plans, they can switch back to traditional Medicare if they want, and that actually started October 15th, and that will go through December 7th.
Oh, okay.
So if they don't sign up during that period, they have to wait until the same period next year unless there's what we call a qualifying event or a special election period. The plan pulls out of a county, which is not going to be ever the Fidelis issue. We're here to stay. We continue to grow. They move out of the area, something like that. For folks that are on Medicaid and Medicare, as we call the duals, they have a continuous enrollment, so they can switch throughout during the year. But we would really ask that everyone who is not that really come in and talk to us before that, so we can really go through all the options that they have.
I mean, it's just something to be so proud of. You know, again, you mentioned the website. I think it's important, Mark. Let everybody know the website.
Sure, it's fideliscare.org, and you can go on there and you'll see lots of different options. If anybody has, you can go on there. It's very easy to navigate, and it tells all the different products. We have the Affordable Care Advisor on there. If there's any questions, the phone numbers are out there, 1-888-FIDELIS-CARE, which I always forget the exact numbers. That's 1-888-343-3547, and for Medicare, it's 1-800-860-8707. But it's very easy to navigate. You can go out there, you can look at providers, and again, we'll go through all that with someone, but they can look, is my doctor on there? I mean, these are key things people need to look at. Is my hospital on there? Is my specialist on there, my PCP? And we can work through all of that, and we've got a pretty expansive network around the state, close to 70,000 providers, more than half down in this area. So most people find that their providers are there, or they can find someone who'll suit their needs.
And I know people who call you, and also it's good to know this at home, the phone response is amazing. You guys are right on top of the phone.
Yeah, we really want people, we want to, this is a very big decision for folks. So when they're calling about health care, I mean, that's something that's very important to them. So we really want to get back to them as soon as possible, get them to the right people. The other thing I want to mention, it's not a pressure environment. We're there to help people get what they need. It's not like people are going to push things on someone. We're going to determine what's the best plan for them, and they'll make that ultimate decision with the information.
Yeah, remember, not for profit. I mean, we're not in it to, earn Cadillacs and stuff like that.
Absolutely not. That is not what we're there for. Correct.
Yeah, that's the point. Mark, what a great story. I'm just so proud of this, really. This is one of the things
it's a great story. It is.
We have a lot to be proud of.
It is, and we're proud to be there. We're proud to be part of this mission, and continue to grow and help those folks get what get coverage that they have available for them.
Thanks again, though, for being here.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
So much.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to take another quick break. Stay tuned. Lots more good news right after this. Welcome back, everyone. Well, see, now do you feel a little better about all this stuff?
I do, and
I feel A, B, C, D.
I
all
do.
These things,
I feel like I learned a lot, and I'm getting that will. Make sure my insurance is up to date.
Maybe you put me in the will. What do you think?
Absolutely,
Right,
you got it.
I got to think
all
about what
$10.
Wait a minute. I want one of the Andy's surfboards or something.
Great,
all right,
done.
Give me that. I'll use that a lot, I'm sure. That would be great. It is funny, though, when you think about older folks in our lives and how much they really mean to us. I go back to my assistant for 13 years was a Dominican nun, Sister Rose Toronto, who, when I first met her, she had me when I was a student in high school. And we all kind of got assigned different secretaries. And I went out. I was at St. John the Baptist High School, where I met Karen. And I walk out and I said, Sister Rose, guess what? You're going to be my secretary. We're going to work together. And she said, I wouldn't have chose you. That's how we met one another. But as time went on, a tremendous relationship formed, one of tremendous respect, mutual understanding, spiritual direction, a mom, a grandmother, a person who taught me so much about the Gospel of John, believe it or not. Her love of the Gospel of John really absolutely touched my heart and changed my life forever. There's a tremendous respect, as we said it during the show, the Holy Father has called us again and again to respect for those who are elderly, those who are in need, and to recognize the dignity of who they are and what they can offer us. How quickly we can miss tremendous wisdom and insight if we just are dismissive of people who are older than we are. There's a tremendous gift there that we're always called to respect and honor, and really recognize the power of Jesus in these wonderful people in our lives. You know, we have two saints in our church, St. Joachim and Anne, who are, you know, respected for being older folks. So there's something beautiful with it.
That.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Sister Rose, I just adored her.
You remember her well too, right? Yeah.
She had a little secret drawer of chocolates.
Oh, really? Did she used to share with you?
Yeah,
Really?
did she share with me?
Yeah, that's
I
beautiful.
loved her.
And in my office right now, to this very day, I still have the little name tag from her desk, the little
You do?
sign that was there. I still have
That's
that in my
so
office. Yeah,
sweet.
such a reminder to me of a great woman and how that woman and her wisdom really changed my life.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, there's a lot to learn, but we're heading in the right direction, I think, with the help of God.
I think so
right?
too.
It's
Yes,
a good
we
thing.
are.
All right, well, we hope that you enjoyed our show, and remember, whatever you do this week,
Keep on spreading the good news.
God bless. We'll see you next time, everybody.
Bye, everyone.